Hey everybody, this is John for MTG Nexus, finishing up our first league with Eldrazi Tron. This week's 50 decks and 50 weeks. This week doing Eldrazi Tron in Mono. Next week we will be doing 5-color Bring to Niv in the Pioneer. So this particular list is from the Tunneling Cat from this week's most recent Modern Format Challenge. A little bit different than the one Yama Killer plays, which we'll be getting to later in the week, which was a slightly green splash for Once Upon a Time. Basically, the deck centers around the cards Eldrazi Temple and the Tron lands. Eldrazi Temple is kind of a soul land for Eldrazi spells. Summon Tron, most people that are familiar with the modern format are familiar with 1+1 plus 1 equals 7, otherwise known as Urza's Mine, Urza's Power Plant, and Urza's Tower. Each of spells produce 1 colorless mana. When you combine all 3 in play, this taps for 2, this taps for 2, this taps for 3. This is primarily a colorless deck. It has a bunch of utility lands you can fetch up with Expedition Map in the form of Blast Zone, blowing up permanents, Cavern of Souls, uncounterable Eldrazi's, Ghost Quarter to blow up problematic lands, Scavenger Grounds allows you to interact with the graveyard with your lands. Tectonic Edge here also is another land destruction spell, and a couple copies of Waste because Blood Moon, Path to Exile, and Field are another thing. The other feature of this deck is this is a Chalice of the Void deck, probably the best one in the format. Basically, Chalice on 0 and 1. If that's good against your deck, chances are Eldrazi Tron is going to have a pretty decent matchup. One thing Eldrazi Tron kind of lacks on is interaction, so 2 copies of Warping Wail, 2 copies of Dismember. Dismember obviously can interact with most creatures in the format, usually for obviously 1 and pay for life, and then Warping Wail is pretty good at randomly accelerating you, countering a target sorcery spell. Usually Escape Shift was the big one in this format. There are other things like Past in Flames and such you can randomly get. And then beyond that, you're just casting a bunch of powerful Eldrazi, hopefully a turn or 2 ahead of time, using things like Walking Ballista and Olisdust to control the board, and then finish the game off with Reality Smashers, Ugins, and Emrakuls, and then you have a small card in the Great Creator package, in which most of your sideboard is taken up with, such as just Tormod's Crypt and Grafdigger's Cage, which usually can come in the graveyard matchups, but also can be a Silver Bullet, Pithing Needle, and another copy of Sorcerer's Spyglass, help you deal with problematic permanents. Daring Bridge when you're just threatening to get a run down, Crucible Worlds when your opponent's blowing up the lands or you're trying to tech edge them out of the game. Sky Sovereign in creature matchups also enables you to pressure Planeswalkers. Wormcoil, pretty good in Mentoring matchups. Walking Ballista in the matchups where it's good, so pretty much got tribal decks. Facial Contortion when you need some more removal spells, Torpor Orb for humans and other decks, and then Wretched Bomb when you need another pseudo sweeper against problematic decks with 0/1 2 mana cost permanents. And beyond that, it's pretty much what your deck's trying to do. Obviously, this is after Extant the Last is banned, so Karn loses a little bit of its power, but still a very powerful card to have a lot of silver bullets in your sideboard. That said, let's finish up our league and hope that Blue-Red Breach is not everywhere tonight. We are back for the 4th match in the league. The first match in this video. So far we've played against Dredge and a couple of Blue-Red Breach decks. So, been a not-so-friendly league. I think this hand's a keep. I think we lead on the Tron lands, get map, maybe run out Chalice on 1 if it happens to get on turn 2. Obviously, potentially starting a map in our hand, but I think once we have some orders of Tron, we're not terribly worried about too much else. This hand obviously is a lot of air, so if our opponent has like a Force of Negation here, pass turn. Okay, so probably going to want a Chalice on 1. Am I though? Feels like a burn deck, maybe a Prowess deck. Okay, Prowess maybe. Okay. So fortunately, we have the answer for Killing Fiend here. So. Just get tower here. Before our opponent can do anything too stupid here. Let's kill this Kiln Fiend. And hope to draw something good. Okay, Steamkin, sure. Okay. So, eventually let our opponent blow some spells on this. We can't pump it up beyond 4, so beyond that I don't particularly care. So the other card we kind of have to worry about is it's kind of weird they're playing both of them in the same deck though. So why hello there. So love. Card should get the game over pretty quickly. Alright. Do a land for Bedlam Reveler. Alright, so we don't have Bedlam Reveler in hand, which is nice. Add a Shaper. And that's annoying. So what you got? This is probably going to end the game. Alright, they're drawing a whole bunch of nothing, but the few spells we did draw was enough to end the game. So, good thing we kept the Chalice hand, I guess. Kiln Fiend is an interesting one. I'm on a red blitz. So we're up against two Salon. Reasonable finishes. So should be where cards we're most familiar with as Blood Moon, maybe more Shatter effects. To that end, we probably want Ratchet Bomb. Spatial Contortions. Don't like too much Leaving in Dismember against burn-based decks, but against this one in particular, I think it's reasonable. Other cards that could kind of Eugene, could cut Ghost Quarter. Cutting lands is not fantastic. We cut a Eugene. And Ghost Quarter. Oh, this deck has a lot of 1-drops. So what does this hand do? Is this hand good enough against your typical mono red kind of prowess nonsense? Like, we are definitely the control deck here, so Blaststone and Wastes are pretty good. I think this hand's a keep. And Waste is also arbitrarily good against Blood Moon. Soulscar annoying, but like, I don't want to take a bunch of damage from this thing, but at the same time, if our opponent's just going to set up with like a Killing Fiend or something, we're going to take a 1 from this guy, so JK, opponent's got like the nutso start. This one does require 3, huh? I think our opponent would have played a bigger threat last turn if they had one. So unfortunately, I think this hand might just be too slow. Goodbye, Kelvin, my. Alright. What else you got? Feels like a late at the stage turn then, huh? Yep. Late at the stage. Interesting. So. We don't die here? So I'm going to 8 here, which isn't terribly terrible for us. Alright, tower, mine. Ooh, ratchet bombs. Nice for the future. Goodbye, friends. Okay, there's a Steamkin. Board controls, just what we want to be doing here. Alright, Killing Fiend is definitely a concern. So yes. So how many? 1, 2. That's so just grab Sky Sovereign. Alright. Sure. Sure. Feels like look at that. Just blow up the graveyards because I really don't want to deal with you doing stuff here. Last turn. Alright, so what am I grabbing here? Guess the only utility land left that we care about here is Blast Zone. TKS is a nice one. So do the thing. Bedlam Reveler, Bedlam Reveler. So in other words, our blowing up the graveyard was the correct play. Sure. Sure. What'd you find? Alright, and sure. Still can't play any of your spells. Alright. Got there in a match against Mono Red Prowess. And we're back for the final match in this league. And the play, which is nice. This hand, however, is kind of hot garbage without any lands. What does this hand do? It's like also kind of hot garbage. So can we justify keeping this on 6? We're 1 land away from Tron, but no map or anything, so I think I've got to go down this one too. Alright, I mean, this hand at least has Tron, I guess? skill on Tron. Wait. Get rid of these temples. Play on a map. Hope it doesn't get countered. Just hope this Chalice of the Void's good. Alright, so Death Shadow maybe. Oh no. This is Dredgevine. Or Crapvine. Stitchers. There's definitely a lot of 1-drops in this deck, so maybe I just want to go ahead and hit them with the Chalice here. Alright, I mean, at least we're going to get a chance to look at their hand, right? So, Tower of Power. Okay. So their hand's a bunch of 1-drops. And some group chills. So we're going to go on the Delta route here and kind of hope that we can hook you out a little bit. Okay. So do we have any way in the main deck to deal with this? Doesn't look like it. Well. Maybe I'm supposed to play. Okay, I'm not really sure what you're doing here, but okay. What's the point of shocking yourself? Grizzly Salvage? So alright, and opponent scoops. Alright. Mulligan to 5, easy win, right? Also being very sarcastic as I say that. So, what kind of stuff are people packing? Fatal pushes, nature's claims, abrupt decays, force of negation. Much of the same stuff because it's the same person. Okay, it's like the same person with every result. Night Shadow who just copied their list. So definitely interested in Cage, interested in Crypt, interested in Relic. This is a Torpor matchup. I guess it theoretically could be, but I think that's a little too cute. Maybe bring this Wormcoil Engine to the party. I think these Ogres can go goodbye. I think Emrakul can go bye. Am I interested in these spatial contortions? Maybe? Sorcerer Spyglass can probably go. Goes like kind of a cheesy card. Might be able to go with Ghost Quarter away here. Go an island and a swamp only, so not a huge amount of things going on. And then Morgan Will's actually surprisingly reasonable against them, which is kind of weird. And then you know, supposed to leave that in the sideboard. Feels like the card we're going to be most getting is Ensnaring Bridge, so I think maybe we just do this and shave a. Yeah, to the 61 card special, I guess. What does this hand do? So no graveyard hate. Turn 3, Thought Not Seer in the draw. Don't think that's quite good enough. We have graveyard hate, but it's really slow. This hand also is kind of clanky. We also have to mulligan this hand. I think this hand's fine. Go down what's Ballista and does it go down Chalice hand or does it go down Thought Knot? I feel like it's a go down Chalice hand. It feels like they're gonna have their stuff in place pretty quickly here. Sure. So we're gonna lose one of our two Eldrazi. So I feel like I'm not a huge player of the archetype, obviously, with Crowdvine. Definitely does not feel like you're supposed to be bringing in Thoughtseize against the Eldrazi Tron deck. Unless you just really don't have enough answers to Chalice of the Void. Sure. And like we're getting chilled here, which is fine. Okay. It's a lot of Thoughtseizes. Are they like afraid we're gonna take like a Gurmag Angler or something here? Like their whole hand resting on like one card? I felt you'd want to take away my play for this turn. Alright, I mean, you're hard casting a prize amalgam. I'm not like terribly scared of that. Like, I'm offering a trade here, right? Like, I just want to get you dead. Maybe flip a good card here. Yeah, sure. Put that on the battlefield. Now we can cast pretty much anything in our deck at this point. Okay. Don't think Warping Whale does a ton here. I guess it counters Creeping Chill and Glimpse. That might be a thing, I suppose. Going to 6 here, probably grabbing an Overgrown Tomb. Okay, got crabs. Sure. No blocks, huh? Alright, warping your whale. Okay, got a crab. Sure. Okay, got a 4. And felt nice to come back and get the 3-2 here. Like, what are the takeaways from this league? I think the takeaways. I'd have to go back and look at the hands that I kept in the first 3 matchups. It's possible that I'm just supposed to be kind of treat the deck a little bit like Mono Green Tron and be a little bit more aggressive with my mulligans. As far as like mulliganing towards more explosive hands, because obviously that's what Eldrazi Tron's trying to do. As you saw there, we obviously won 2 Multifies, although I do still think our opponents greatly overvalued Thoughtseize in the matchup. I understand maybe you can't beat, a Grafdigger's Cage or Tormod's Crypt, but I can't help but feel you're supposed to try to deploy your game plan. So, not really sure there what our opponent was trying to accomplish with the Thoughtseizes, but again, maybe they're just not capable of beating Graveyard Hate and or Chalice, as like Chalice on 1 really kind of hammered them game 1. A lot of slots I'm not quite sure of, like how many Ugins do you want to run? Is Emrakul the Promised End a good one in the main deck? What interaction spells you want to be running? For a lot of the games, Warping Whale felt like a really bad card, and then there was a couple of situations there where it came up big for us in the last couple matchups. So we'll have to take a look at Yama Killer's Once Upon a Time list, and then once we play the league with that, kind of get a feel for you know, maybe what kind of cards we're interested in playing more. But definitely an interesting list. I think there's more to playing E-Tron than some people want to think, but the basics are kind of the same. You're trying to mulligan the Chalice or fast Eldrazi's or fast Tron. So a lot less payoffs in this deck for Tron per se, but being able to cast like All Is Dust on turn 3 or Nugan on turn 3 or Reality Smasher plus, say, Matter, Shape, or Dismember. A lot of powerful things you can be doing with the extra mana. One thing I have noted already is the lack of a Mystic Forge in the sideboard, and I think any version we will be playing moving forward will be running that card. Anyways, this has been John for MTG Nexus with first league wrap-up for Eldrazi Tron for week 3 of our 50 decks in 50 weeks.